So I'm with Shax, Sapan, Sahil, Sonali, Rohan, and just now Sapan was talking about how between all of us, we've possibly written every award show that exists. Not just award shows, but shows with movie stars, which are private shows or launch events. I've written one launch event for when Hero Honda became just Hero and Honda was shoved away. It was a big launch event in London. So welcome to the show. First of all, which all have we written for? Can you guys name some?
Filmfare Awards.
And then Filmfare Awards again.
IFA, Green Awards.
We've done Star Screen, right?
Star Screen, GMA, which was some Global Indian Music Awards.
IFA, Life OK Screen Awards, Gia News Awards.
I remember.
Yeah.
Gia News, huh?
I really want to write Star Parivar someday.
Oh, I was a producer on Star Parivar Awards.
What?
Yeah, that was one of my first producer gigs. I was on the red carpet. I was a red carpet producer.
Star से याद आया Star Dust Awards भी.
Star
Dust Awards भी.
Zee Cine Awards लिखा है और New Talent Awards लिखा था बहुत पहले.
New Talent Awards.
Oh, that was the first time we met Ranveer actually.
Yeah.
Yes.
Telly Awards, where I had no idea who I was writing for or what I was writing also, because I didn't watch like Star Plus and Sony TV ka Saas Bahu shows. But we still wrote some stuff for that.
I want to begin the podcast with this one particular show. I don't remember if Rohan, Shax, both of you wrote this one also, but it was for the Ravan launch. Like I think
Bro,
the Ravan.
please. How dare you?
Was it you,
How
Rohan?
dare you?
Was it you,
I
Rohan?
was in the room with you when we
Yes,
blew Arjun
yes,
Rampal's
exactly.
mind with the world's most straightforward observation.
That's the story I want you to tell about. We were right. So let me give you some context. It was the Ravan launch. Okay, I think the trailer was being launched. Music was being launched.
Music launch.
It was the Ravan music launch. And me and Rohan were in the room, and Arjun Rampal's vanity van. And Rohan, tell the story, please.
And like I just point out like one of the lines in the script is that basically like in Dawn also like Arjun Rampal and Shahrukh Khan were on opposite sides. In this movie also they are on opposite sides. And there was some other movie also where basically they were on opposite sides. And it's like somehow whenever Shahrukh and you are in a movie, you guys seem to be opposite each other. And it occurs to us, we see Arjun Rampal's face change. This has never occurred to him. This has never occurred to Arjun. Like he's sitting there and I still remember his face. He's like, hey, yeah, man, you're right. Oh, are you telling us? Hey, what the hell, guys? Like, did you know this? It was too good. It was beautiful.
That third movie was Om Shanti Om. I think.
Correct, Om Shanti Om also. Exactly, Om Shanti Om. And we pointed out और उसका सर फट गया. Like,
It's like telling the trivia to him about him.
I think उसने जाके उसी दिन अपना IMDb पेज अपडेट किया होगा.
हाँ, 100%. IMDb trivia section.
I am opposite.
It was a Diwali release. I watched it, and I must say that I didn't find it that bad.
Sonali, you don't have to say I watched it when it comes to Hindi movies. You don't have to specify. We know you watched. You watched.
Yep.
Yeah, but Arjun Rampal was called Lucifer. So I was like, oh, that is cool.
Yes. Yes.
Bollywood movie में Lucifer नहीं आता normally.
I think if Rohan told him what the original Lucifer reference is, would have blown Arjun Rampal's.
उधर ही गिर जाता. वो launch cancel हो जाता. वो launch cancel हो जाता. Arjun Rampal has had to take bed rest due to exhaustion brought on by blowing mind by trivia.
Okay, so we've written a bunch of these award shows. The one thing that everybody asks me the second I tell them, oh, I was part of writing these award shows, is, hey, are they scripted? Is the award show scripted?
Yes.
And they mean it in two ways. The first one is, they can't believe that these jokes that people are telling on stage and all these hosting lines are Agla award hai, all of these have to be written. And the second element of scripting is, are the awards who they win, like do they plan or is it genuine? Right? That's what they mean by...
Are they paid for?
Yeah.
Not only are they paid for, but are they pre-decided? Like when the person opens the shit, are they really surprised or do they already know that kind of stuff?
But I'll tell you for the first question, I myself didn't know this, right? I didn't know that celebs, when they are asked a question, the answer they give back is scripted, and it blew my mind. I was like, oh shit, because I knew we had to script what the hosts say, but what the guests also say.
Hey, wait. You have to script what the guests say.
So I'll tell you the gag we did. We did this.
Huh.
We wrote this Haifa Awards for Farhan and Shahid, okay, which was happening in Tampa. So the idea was they'll do a rap. This is a rap they'll do, and in the rap format, they'll go into the audience. They'll ask a silly question to a guest, and the guest will also reply in a rap form and like give it back to them. So like they'll go to Govinda and say, Govinda, you have question number 1. How do you have so much fun? And then Govinda will reply in some way. So we have only scripted those lines also.
I am
for
actor
Govinda.
number 1.
Yes.
His line was, इसका जवाब तो जानते हैं सारे, बस अखियों से गोली मारे. And then Govinda okay, so these guys, we scripted thinking Govinda will be there, Sonakshi will be there, Javed Saab will be there, and Bipasha Basu was supposed to be there. Now, these guys go into the audience and it's happening live. I have briefed Bipasha Basu also. I am briefing all these guys that they'll come to you, this is your line. They go to Javed, it's killing it. They go to Sonakshi. They go to where Bipasha is supposed to be sitting, but at that same point, Bipasha goes to the loo. So she's not there. And the music is playing. So they're like, Bipasha. They ask the question also. They don't know what to do, how to move on. So they go, फरहान शायद को, अगर बिपाशा यहाँ होती तो वो शायद ये कहती.
Good cover up.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a great improv.
And that's where Zoya Akhtar got the idea for Gully Boy.
Yes. Right there.
Those were our duties. I was running around backstage trying to figure out what is happening. Sapan, if you watch the 2014 IFA, you may see Sapan in the corner next to an actor saying, "Sir, ye boli." Sir, ye boli, please.
So when I wrote Life OK Screen Awards and there was a large segment that Shahrukh was hosting, that's when I realized that Shahrukh Khan is like the Shahrukh Khan because he foresees like all these mishaps like way in advance.
Yes.
So he's like, all the audience interactions we had planned, he called all of them in like the vanity van and he briefed them about it.
No,
और
this
एक बार अगर
is a
शाहरुख ने
separate
आपको
segment in the podcast about General Shahrukh Khan fanboying.
I thought
so but I mean like if Shahrukh briefs you then you're not going to go anywhere, you're going to hold your pee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Shahrukh, because he's done so many of these, he's so well aware, not just of mishaps like if this person isn't there, but he has a general he has a general view of how would this be perceived by some people, these factions, what will these people think. It's not just comes out of just generally being very, very aware, but also I think over the years his sense of humor has probably not gone down well with other people who don't have a sense of humor. That you feel like he has borne the brunt of this. That's why he's now extremely careful.
Shahrukh Khan bearing the brunt of something is not just like one guy calling him, "Ye kya kiya?" Like Shahrukh Khan bearing the brunt is like Mulayam Singh Yadav phone karega.
Yeah.
Like it's that, right? It's that. It's that.
That's hard because he's generally a very funny guy, right? Like he's a hilarious dude, and he's very witty off stage. You can have a conversation with him about anything, and you can imagine why that would get him into trouble in a world or an industry where everything is so PC, right?
Everything is very like Sir Ji, Saab Ji, Ye Ji, Wo Ji. And he got in trouble for like very basic ass jokes. But again, with this award thing, I feel like if you wake him up and say, "Sir, 1 minute पे stage पे जाना है, पूरा award show host करो,"
He can do it.
because it's so like ingrained. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. हाथ फैलाने का, 2-3 adjective मारने का, खत्म.
Shahrukh he's a natural showman, right? It's not just on stage. Off stage, if you go hang out with him in his vanity van and you say, "Hey, tell me something about this time," right? Then it's a 30-minute monologue which is both insightful and charming and hilarious at the same time.
I want to do one of those end to end, start to finish. I want an audio commentary of Shahrukh Khan just doing the director's commentary of Karan Arjun.
Yeah.
Basically. Because there have been stories, like I will not share them, I will leave them for him to share, but stories that have changed my world. Like completely.
One of the first major criticisms that Sapan and I had received as writers was from Shahrukh, right? Like we had given a script that we had written very hastily and we gave it to him to read. And I remember we are standing near the podium and he's reading it, right? And he's reading it. He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen," then he looks at us and we are smiling. And he's like, "You guys know this is shit, right?" You know, right? This is bad.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Like he's
That's
just
hilarious.
like, you know what
We're
you've
like, yes,
written is
sir, we
garbage.
know.
I didn't know what it was.
You know, a lot of actors will read like the first 2 lines or first 3 lines and just be like, you know what, this is not working. But he will really invest in reading the whole thing and then he'll sit you down and tell you why it doesn't work for him. So, which I thought was really nice.
Shax, you had something to say?
No, I was saying when an award show script is shit in the first page, then you know like it's bad. क्योंकि उसमें जब आप मेहनत करो तो भी ज़्यादा effort नहीं होता.
Yeah. So what you were saying?
Sapan, what happened? How did you react?
Yeah, Sapan-
No, sir. I am saying, see, the thing is, we wrote the good jokes of Shahrukh, the monologue and all. This is where the client came in saying, guys, award का नाम बोलने में भी creative होते हैं. So let's not just say कि अगला award है best lyric. You have to say अगला award है वो जिसमें best lyric यानी कि वो जो गाने आप सुनते हैं. हम like इसमें क्या creative कर सकते हैं? So those he read, and he's like, you also know, na, this is bullshit. I said, yeah, sir, we also know. But what to do? He got told, like, हटाओ नहीं, क्यों करना है? I'm like, okay.
I remember writing a ICICI. There was an ICICI award.
ICICI awards.
Internal awards that Shahrukh was the brand ambassador edge to come. क्या बोल रहा है Sapan?
I got the CD of that award as a reference to write other award shows for Shahrukh.
Oh,
You
yeah.
guys
Yeah,
are so-
Nice.
yeah. So I was
Nice.
involved in that until the moment Shahrukh gets on stage. I remember being backstage with him and discussing we had written some Q&A to discuss with someone, in one of the top management people. And we're backstage, and before, even till the time he's going on stage, he's still like, do you think this joke will work? And, there was a work ethic of almost like a writer,
full.
which I really liked.
Yeah, just to add on to that, it was very cool the first time. I think that was the first time I met him was the film fair that we wrote. And the cheap thrill I got was, we were discussing a script and he comes to a joke and he says it a certain way, like he says it wrong. So I'm like, actually, you have to say it like that. And he agreed and I was like, oh! ऐसा होता है क्या? मैं इसका delivery क्या बात कर रहा है?
Yeah. You can absolutely, like, we could go to him at any point and be like, hey, the timing on this is not this, it's this. And he would listen. Like, it's not like, no, who are you to teach me or whatever. He'd be like, I completely defer to your judgment on this.
Like, till I met him, I used to think that actors were like, just like, okay, fine, like they wouldn't know shit about anything. They're just like actors. Very stupid notion. Yeah. And then he starts talking and I'm like, holy hell. And then he's talking about comedy and the shows he's seen and he's spoken about like Carlin and stuff like that. And we are also like, yeah, come see, we also do comedy. Come now, one show, come see Comedy Club.
Come to comedy show. You want ticket? You want ticket? I'll keep for you in the box office. Don't worry. It's on me. मैं रखता हूँ.
Like,
I'll send you Tom's number. You can call Tom when you reach Comedy Store. But for a lot of you won't get this. Tom was what was he? Tom. He was
literally like the guy. He was the guy at Comedy Store.
And whenever we would go perform there, we would send people Tom's number saying, if you want the ticket and the show started, you can call Tom and he'll arrange for the ticket.
No. I'm saying this Shahrukh Comedy Store thing. I had a very dumb moment with him the first time I met him for some award show only. And the producers introducing he's a writer, he's also a stand-up comedian. So Shahrukh got damn impressed. He discusses stand-up. He's done it with all of you, right? That I've seen George Carlin, I've seen this, that. मुझे आधे नाम पता भी नहीं थे. So I'm like, yeah, sir, I've seen. Then he's like, chal, so we'll write tomorrow. Come tomorrow, we'll start working on the script. So I'm like, okay, when do I come? So he's like, तू बता कितने बजे आना है? Okay, I should say, you are Shahrukh Khan, you tell me. But I had just started doing comedy. और मेरा कॉमेडी शो पे स्पॉट था एक 7 मिनट का. So I am telling शाहरुख खान कि एक्चुअली कल मेरा 8 से 10 शो है 7 मिनट का.
Shahrukh is legit the only person who be like, because 3 to 6, 6 to 9, 9 to 12, Sara show hai, bro.
We had written a gag once where we were like, kind of like roasting the other actors' bad movies, okay? So Shahrukh was like, this is a great joke, but I kind of need to level it out and I also need to name some of my bad films. So me, Azim and Angad were sitting and he's like, just name some of my bad movies. and I'm like, Ashoka.
It's a trap.
So I went on, I'm like, Ashoka, Maya Memsa, wo dalenge India, Ram Jane. And his manager's looking at me and she's like, His
manager slowly taking a knife और the Fritz Singh यही कर दी
Yeah,
कर रही है
बस
नहीं क्या कर रही है
It's a great sketch. So now, like that, the Bollywood fan who's like, Guddu, Anjam, while getting dragged out of Manna, it's still here.
It's like that Hannibal Buress meme. Why are you booing me? You know I'm right.
all right are we done with the Shahrukh fanboying
No, because we have not told the most important story with the ICICI awards. Like to take on what Sahil was saying, right? Like that he's a guy.
Yeah,
The first time we met him for the ICICI awards, he came to the set like some 1 hour before the show, and we have just sent the script out from our end. So we're like, "Yaar,
yeah.
padega kab?" Right? We're like, "Yaar, padega kab?" Like this script, right? Because he's come like
Oh,
and
yeah.
first of all, there's an hour to go for the show. He has arrived. He has gone straight into dance practice because he's got like a dance, this, that, all of that. And we are like, fuck, this guy's not gonna know the script. Like this
At all.
was just he's just gonna go up there and say whatever he wants, okay? With some 20 minutes to go for the show, we get a call saying Shahrukh wants to see you in his room. Okay? We are waiting for him, and I still remember we are chilling with the great Mr. Ganesh Hedge.
Ganesh Hedge
Again, Ganesh Hedge.
He's at the ICICI event for hedge funds.
He's at the ICICI event for hedge funds. And Sapan, your financial terminology is wrong. First of all, they are Hegde funds. Okay. Again, this is we continue our tradition of blowing people's minds in Shahrukh's inner circle, because at this point while waiting for him, Tanmay and I are playing multi-pong on my iPad. I still remember. We are playing multi-pong on my iPad and Ganesh Hegde is like, "Ye kya hai?"
I remember we played with Shahrukh also, no? Or we told him to play multi-pong.
We told
He
him,
acknowledged it.
Wow, we have a history of video game with Shahrukh.
Recommending games.
Yeah, to Shahrukh Khan.
That he then I'm sure plays with other people. And so Shahrukh Khan comes out, okay, and there's 20 minutes to go for the show, and we're like, okay, now we're gonna have to take him through the script, all of that. Dude, I have no idea when and how, because he's come in costume, makeup, he's finished his dance practice. He sits down with us and he's like, हाँ तो पहले मुझे ये बोलना है, फिर ये जोक, फिर इनका, and he knows every name, he knows every joke, he knows every line, he knows every cue, and we're just like, how? And in the middle of all this, Tanmay is all like, oh shit, the Manchester City Chelsea game is on or something like that. And he's like, yeah, Tevez scored. And I'm like, no, how do you know that also? That also? Like in the middle of all this. Like it makes no sense. That was the day I like, this man is a Jedi of some sort when it comes to scripts. Like,
Oh man, insane.
I think Shahrukh's story is a separate episode altogether.
Yeah, you won't stop. You just keep going
Yeah,
for
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I'm okay with making this one that episode.
yeah, so
Like every time I feel fanboy about him, there's a part of my brain that goes like, chill, he's just a human being, like he's just a person, right? But he's the only one who actually evokes this in me.
But
I don't
it's-
feel that about anybody
Legit
else.
fanboying, you know, it's legit fanboying because you're like, dude, this guy is like super smart. He's super smart, super he's very charming, you know, like when you meet him also you're like, oh shit, now I know why people are, you know, like fanboying over him. And he is nice. He's incredibly nice to you.
nice.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
like he allowed us to chill in his vanity van when he was on stage. You know, actors don't do that. They are like, you know what, just get out. You're the writer. But we were chilling. We were hanging out with Honey Singh. It was kuch bhi ho raha tha that I find. We were like, this is
wild.
just an amazing journey. You
yeah.
know, like what is
And
happening?
the thing is, if you are in Shahrukh's vanity or if you're part of his project, then all the other celebrities around you also like, oh, they treat you nicely because
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. हम लोग फ्री में सतीश शाह को मिला गाइस हम लोग फ्री में सतीश शाह को मिला ठीक है
Yeah, it was. This was the Ravan thing, right? Like
This
me,
was the
you,
Ravan thing only.
Hanging out with Satish Shah.
Yeah.
And we were discussing वो मैं हूं ना में थूकने वाला scene and all that shit.
I just remember this visual of me going out for a call, entering Shahrukh's van, and Sahil and Honey Singh are sitting together. And Sahil on his laptop is showing Honey Singh Sahil's stand-up video from Comedy Store, saying, "I'm coming what?"
What?
अरे भाई कभी आना है तो बोलो टिकट है टॉम
Listen, Honey Singh was on a tangent, okay? He was very happy. He was happy. He's like, "Aapko peena hai?" I said, "No."
Oh, he
Plot
told us
lines. He
amazing
sat.
stories.
He told us plot lines of the expose. That was the movie that was coming out. I'm not going to get into graphic detail of what he told us, but he was enjoying himself and he was telling us to drink. And I don't know. I don't think we did because you can't, right? That's like the highest level of.
Yeah,
but yeah, so we were chatting about comedy and all. That's what happened. He was like, "Comedy
Yeah,
karte ho?" I was showing him the video. It was a natural, hey man, hey.
Hey, you tell me story about expose.
Yeah.
I'll show you
And
my
then the
comedy
best
video.
part, the best part, at that point we were doing a promo for EIC, right? So we decided whenever we hang out with a celeb, we'll try to shoot a video, right? About who is this, who is that. And we told Honey Singh, "Aap shoot karoge?" And he like, "Arey, yeah, for sure, yaar, maza aega." And literally, he shot a video where I'm sitting next to him and he like, "Ye dekh, iska chehra, chutiya jaisa chehra hai." And I didn't know that he was going to say that. He just straight away said, क्या चूतिया जैसे चेहरे है उसका and I'm like
Tatti,
okay
call it
cool
tatti.
yeah tatti चेहरा and I'm like ठीक है cool I guess yeah fine this is content fine
That's amazing.
fine
Wow. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. It's like when you get random requests for shout out for College Fest. You did that too. You did that too.
Yeah, just like fuck this.
So, sir, we have little channel. Please.
Anyway, coming back to the original question. I forgot what it was.
Which was what?
Coming back to the original question.
From-
Scripted. How scripted are the award shows? Let's talk about the degree to which they are scripted, right? Like I think any they're called links, right? When you say something like और अगला अवार्ड है एक ऐसे कला के लिए जो something देखते हैं nominees for best lyrics. This is called a link. I think what people say when they receive the award on stage is obviously not scripted.
Yeah.
Any other gag, any other introduction, and in moments like sometimes you can ask an audience member a question, they're supposed to give a funny reply, all that is scripted.
So the part of the links that usually gets scripted is like when you give the award, when the actor comes to receive the award, there's always like some interaction between like the actor who's receiving the award and the person and the presenters. So you have to write that interaction for every. अगर ये वाला जीतेगा तो ये लिखना है. अगर ये वाला जीतेगा तो ये लिखना है. As if you don't already know who's winning. So just like make it work like
There's a word
And
called
tell
which I
us
love,
who's
which
it.
all the award show producers use called एक moment बनाते हैं यहाँ पे.
moment बनाते
कि
हैं.
शाहरुख अवार्ड दे रहा है और ऋतिक लेने आ रहा है तो moment तो बनाना ही है ना.
बनाना है उसके अंदर. And that moment could be anything. That moment could be a joke.
Yeah.
That moment could be two people hugging in slow motion.
Yeah.
That moment could be
Yeah.
someone touching someoone's feet.
Don't forget fake fight.
Fake fight, yes.
Yeah,
Fake
fake
fight
fight.
is very important.
Remember watching TV on TV when at the break point they would cut and just before cutting they would be like Shahrukh and Hrithik ना तो शाहरुख ने को joke मारा Hrithik का ऐसा reaction black and white डिडिंग
Yeah.
पब्लिक बैठ के देख रहा है झगड़ा होएगा सोनी टीवी बैठ के देख रहा है
नहीं होना झगड़ा.
हिंदी राइटर ने लिखा है कुछ नहीं होएगा झगड़ा
No, but that's the best part. The writer would not have even written it. When you're writing and you're seeing the show happen live, you're like, this is relatively drama free. You know, like there's relatively not as much applause or laughter that you thought there would be for the joke. There's silence after the joke. Then you see the edit and you see the way they've patched in the applause, and you're like, hey, not bad, yeah. I've written quite a
Yeah,
good
but
script.
there is, just to clarify, this reaction thing is something that people think about award shows, because often on the edit what will happen is someone will make a joke and in real life there was laughter, right? But they didn't get a hilarious reaction from someone going like this or someone going like this. That's why they tend to reuse the same ones. The reusing of the same shot of Katrina clapping is because Katrina actually came for just 30 minutes out of the 3 hours that they shot. So they come and there's a just can their reactions right now. This part that people perceive that same पूरे टाइम के लिए आते नहीं होंगे शायद आके ताली बजा के निकल जाते. This part of it is actually true. Like camera people are brief like this seat is for this person, there's going to be someone here for about 30-45 minutes. When they come, make sure the camera goes to them and you get all their reactions. ये award के time पे ये हो सकता है तो इनका reaction जरूर लेना. All that they're told.
Which also ties in directly to why it's so heavily scripted, right? Because there are so many moving parts. Like Katrina's going to be there 9:30 to 10:15. Amit is going to be there 10:45 to 11:30. This to this to this. So you better make sure that in that time, anything you have to get, you get. Like, so you have to script, like, obviously you have to script. Like,
No, I mean, sometimes they're performing also. So they have to do that. I've noticed this, like, so they literally call saying, I'm going out for the reaction shots.
Yeah.
So they will go sit there for 20 minutes. Then they'll spend 20 minutes on the red carpet doing all the red carpet interviews and all. then they have to come do their performance, and they have to do their award. So there's like 7 things that everybody's doing. So it is very like
Correct.
it has to work.
Yeah,
like
plus 1, 2 sponsor deliverables are there where you have to go do a bite and this and that.
Yeah.
Like, they are occupied for the whole time that they are there.
Yeah.
Like if Katrina's performing, right?
Yeah.
You obviously want to get her whole performance, but you also want to show, hey, Katrina entering Filmfare, because that's like a photo
Yes.
moment, right? Oh, Katrina is with
Yeah.
this, she's wearing this, she's with this person, she's looking like this. Then you want to get the pre-Filmfare red carpet show, you want to get Katrina's bite there also. So often during the live show, Katrina would have finished her performance at the main show. Then she goes and gets ready. Then you catch her entry. Plus you also catch a moment with the red carpet anchor doing this. So it's not linear as people imagine.
Also, no, one sec, don't forget, some of them are like the actual performance is shot a day or two in advance
Yes.
because it's got like way too many camera moving parts, etc.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
Yeah.
Or they're
on the
not
actual day of the
available.
awards, or they're not available,
Yeah.
or like it requires too much makeup, etc. and look to change out of in the middle of an
Yeah.
award show. So that also like happens. So
Yeah.
it's quite like
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah, good one.
Exactly
For-
that.
For the listeners on audio only, please
for
tune
the
into
listeners,
YouTube.
yes, please tune in. Basically, it's just a lot of random moving parts that are placed together, like plug and play hota hai thoda bahut.
Which Rohan denoted by vibrating.
But as a viewer, I must say, before I started writing movies, like before I started writing the award shows, I knew that this concept of pre-shooting the dances used to be there, and it's not like fun, like as much as like the live show is, and like, but even Shahrukh have seen who did this whole in between, like reading the scripts, because he was hosting, and then the team also wanted him to perform. So he was like shooting, learning the dance, then shooting that segment, then sitting with us in the vanity van, then shooting, dancing. And I was like, oh my God, is this how they do it? Like the process is crazy.
They call pickups, by the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're doing a live show, you're saying a line and you flub a line here, mispronounce something, right? But you don't want to disrupt the live show with 1,000 people watching and be like, "Wapas le le wo." So like, let's just continue. And then after the show is done, after everyone leaves, they do something called pickups, where you again stand and you again look at the teleprompter and you retake the line properly. Like this happens in literally everything from Comic-Stan to
Including on
Filmfare.
air with AIB.
Including on
There were many pickups. That you always dread. There's always a moment like when, and this is true for award show. This was true for like on air. What has happened to you all also, I'm sure. A shoot finishes and the director yells cut, and in your head you're like, it's done. And then that producer walks over and they've got the copy of the whole script with them. And you're just looking to see how many markings are on that script. Because that's what's going to define when you get to go home, right? Too many markings, then you're in there for another hour, 2 hours while they do all of this stuff. Otherwise, nope.
I know it's like it's sounding so glamorous when we are talking about the writer's life, you know, like we are like, oh yeah, it's, you know, it's fun, you hang out with celebs, it's easy and all. Like I remember when you were writing the IFA, this thing, there was so many changes till the last day. Like the last date, we've not slept, we didn't sleep, we were up
Oh, absolutely.
till 7 in the morning, 8 o'clock you reach the stadium where it is being shot, and I was out of my wits, you know, like I had, it's just so bizarre, like.
No,
And
to
there is
anyone
a-
who's listening, to this right now, all the fun stories that you've heard, please just imagine every single one of them happening on 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
like, and remember that there are files on our computer marked draft 31, client change approved, draft 31 with Hrithik intro also, draft 31, बहुत है.
This one final.
This
Okay,
one final,
no more.
final.
Last one, I promise.
And there is a sense of when you watch the final product on TV or whatever, तुमने joke लिखे, you've exercised your brain for like comedically as much as you could, taking client and Bollywood ego perspective and all that. और तू joke देखता है और उस joke के end में आते हैं, and you're like,
But till like even if you think your script is final, till like on the day of the show they'll be like, we need to integrate this brand, so write this brand integration, and then you have to make that also funny, and you have to make that also like some natural and organic. I'm like, how is it organic for somebody to just talk about like agarbatti? Like, in the middle.
Yeah, मसाले फिल्म से याद आया, पान मसाला also.
Actually मैंने भट्ट साहब की पिक्चर की थी, भट्ट साहब की बेटी का नाम है पूजा से याद आया अगरबत्ती, guys. And like you said, when people get very like hung up about the ethos and the pathos and the brand value of their award and what it stands for, तू बोलना यार, तू बोल.
No. I was just gonna bring this up earlier that often for a lot of people, like what makes it to the news is, oh, X person won this award, right? Like that's where the prestige is. But on the set, like there's a clear hierarchy. It's a 3-hour show where a lot of advertisers need to be catered to, because every year this award show garners, 3.5 TRP for us. And that determines a lot of decisions before the award shows are even done. For example, who's going to host the award show? Will this person be able to pull me a 2 TRP? Can I cut this? A promo moment is a huge thing. Like before you write it, you have to pre-package in, okay, I need, this can become a promo for me the week leading up to the award, right? Like this is what I will tease for. I'll run a full marketing. Remember the old days where marketing campaigns would happen like, Sare sitare ek raat mein. Like that's the kind of marketing.
Hold on.
It would lead up to that one particular moment for the show where, okay, peak TRP was 4. And I remember the celebration used to happen at post Filmfare also, right? It was so good, guys, this time. Sony's very happy. They got the number that they think they wanted, etc., etc. So it's still, it's very much a business as much as you don't want to accept it.
So I mean, I get it. It's, from a writer's point of view, it's just funny because you're like, हाँ ठीक है.
You forget what a tiny cog you are in like a significant, because the thing is, right, because you're hanging out with all the A-list talent, so you think you are very important in all of this. It's on the day of the show when you, like, this thing also happens, right? There'll be this joke and this bit that like it took 6 drafts and 4 nights of not sleeping, and at 8:45 p.m. you'll see it picked up like an unwanted child and just flung off the bridge. Like literally just flung away so casually, right? And when you realize like, tumhara, like your art was great until 5:59 p.m. today. Now it's just chop, buddy, chop. Exactly. Manik Chand way bigger than like just realize this.
If you're talking about moments, okay, I have to specify this moment for us. I think Sapan and I, our peak as writers would be in the 2014 IFA, when everything we wrote, it was a stadium, Florida, huge, like we got like some 20,000 people watching, and then Kevin Spacey came on stage and they made him wear a lungi and he danced to lungi dance.
Oh, that was you guys. Oh, that was you guys.
Oh, you guys.
It's our secret, but now it's public. I know. It was legendary. That was what IFA, like they were like, oh, we got Kevin Spacey and he did the lungi dance. Like, whoa.
Hey man, okay, we got Shahrukh and Ranveer to wear a sari.
Actually, sorry, just to clarify, Tanmay, Shahrukh got Shahrukh and Ranveer to wear a sari.
That's true.
And
we however got them to wear kairi and mango suit.
Yes.
Also, it's important. There was Mango Rita based on Senorita from Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, because this is how the thought process works when designing moments for shows. अच्छा, Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara में Senorita था. Senorita का Mango Rita बना सकते हैं क्या? ओह भाई साहब क्या idea?
क्यों था मालूम है? क्यों था मैंगो मालूम है? क्योंकि वो Shahrukh is like the big, like yellow mango, like the senior guy. And Ranveer is the younger guy.
And Ranveer is kachi kairi. He's kachi kairi.
I don't know why.
What was the setup here? Why were
The setup here was Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara was Senorita, so this became Mango Rita. And then, look, I'm sure a lot of shit happened in the middle. Because it was 4 in the morning, Tanmay. You know what? Because it was 4 in the morning and there were like 3 days left to go for the shoot, okay? And that's why it was Mango Rita.
I have a question. Were any of you responsible for Nariyal Awards? Where he gives the coconut and he says Nariyal?
That was before.
It was I think 2 years or 3 years before we wrote.
Okay, best.
But that award, that show was legendary because that began the Shahrukh Saif chemistry that was epic at that.
That was Veer and Saurabh, guys. That was Veer and Saurabh.
Nariyal.
Yes. That first year, that one that you're talking about, that Saif and Shahrukh one, where they were like, oh shit, this is great, and it actually seems to be scripted. That was the first time Veer and Saurabh did it.
Epic.
Yeah, full on.
That is how we got into it, right? Like me, Shax and Rohan, we worked with Veer. And Filmfare asked, I think Cineyug asked Veer to write, and Veer was like, I already did the OG Nariyal Awards.
Exactly.
Now I hand it over to these guys. That's how you usually get into it. Like you have to be in the industry to sort of get that call.
That's how even I got into it. I used to write with EIC, and that's when I was also introduced to the world of like writing for award shows, and I was like, what? This opportunity has landed. Oh my god, I get to write award shows. It's beautiful.
What is it that makes us still want to write for movie
you know
stars?
what it was for me, one thing was that again, Tanmay, I think this is you and me. This was the first time like we had seen the power of budget. Because I remember they wanted to, and this is when Ranveer Kapoor and Imran Khan hosted it, they wanted to do like one opening, like video opening piece, like before they get on stage. And we literally, I think with 2 or 3 days to go, wrote this bit where like old movie style, he goes into a temple and he's like, Bhagwan, ye tune mere saath kya kiya, Bhagwan? And then all these leaves fly. And like he gets this message that he's supposed to host it with Imran. And they come in, and we've written this with like 72 hours to go or something like that. And I remember the next day we are standing at Film City. And this set is done, and this fan, and this blower, and these costumes, and all have just happened. And we have never seen anything like that in our lives based on something that we just pulled out of our ass 24 hours ago. And to see like Ranbir Kapoor, Imran Khan, all these people like suddenly just be there. I guess there's something intoxicating about it. I put this on a piece of paper 24 hours ago and now Ranbir Kapoor is in full costume. Like, wow!
And
like,
as opposed to when we write and then a quick turnaround, kahan shoot kare guys? OML office, OML office, OML office, OML office.
Yes, exactly.
Cut to shooting our own sketches, saying, guys, मैं घर से कपड़े लेके आ रहा हूँ. That's what we do now.
Another part of the appeal was, A, you were new to this whole celeb thing. B, it was a chance to sort of just do jokes with these guys, minus like the Bollywood sort of persona getting, and they were just like, you're trading jokes. And most of these guys outside of camera, like they're kind of chill, and a lot of the younger ones have the similar sensibilities. As you same pop culture dekha hai, same comedy dekha hai.
That was the question I was going to ask. Do these how are these celebs? Do they have a sense of humor off camera? Are they cool?
Yeah, in my experience, a lot of them are. Like, and I think again, sorry, just to random tangent thought to add on to that. Like, you asked about what's intoxicating about writing, like for sort of movie stars, or why do we want to do it? Like, when you're in like your early 20s, right? Like, you're like we talked about the smallest cog in the machine. I think we are also like among the first people they've met that are like so outside of their like known systems that like we are also just like, nahi ye joke funny nahi hai, nahi ye joke nahi hai, this that, which like I think forms a cool bond also in a way. Right? Like in a way where they're like, oh, okay, so you're actually willing to like fight for this and that. And at a 22, 23 year also, it's very cool, right? That you can actually negotiate these spaces like with these people. And I think that was also part like of the appeal of being so small and free to just do that, like without any sense of consequence was crazy.
I think for me it was also the fact that when you're 22 and none of us are like connected to Bollywood people in any way. So this is the only way writing award shows where you actually get to hang out with Shahrukh Khan for 5 days at a stretch and write and brainstorm with this guy. So those contacts, there's no other way you would get that at that point when you're 22 and just starting out.
There's a lot of like this fandom that kicks in despite your professionalism, right? Like the Shahrukh thing you mentioned. Again, there was some Z Cine award thing that we had written. And मैं rehearsal में बैठा हूँ and these people are just basically doing some basic dance rehearsal. So Shahrukh Khan is there, Madhuri Dixit is there, and Karishma Kapoor comes. It's some Yashraj का कुछ to tribute segment था. ये तीनों आ रहे हैं और अपना वो दिल तो पागल है कोई गाना पे ऐसा. They're just kind of practicing, okay, अपना normal clothes में practicing. And I'm like, oh, ये picture मैंने देखी है. Like this is so cool. Like this thing. What? So I'm just like in the middle of my script. Hey, moment.
Like, I'm not like one of those people who are like, oh my god, celebrity, I'm starstruck. Oh my god, I'm like, dude, these are just normal people. They're doing the job. We shouldn't be starstruck with them, right? But when you meet them, right, it just hits you. Oh fuck, I've seen you for all these years on TV. Oh my god, my dad is such a big fan.
Yeah.
If I could tell him that I'm literally sitting next to you and writing, oh shit, everyone you saw while growing up is right in front of you, like you're literally talking to Govinda and you're like, oh, okay, I must not fanboy. So I think it's just that,
But I've always seen like actors mostly who are like super successful, and actors who are not at all and are self-aware are those who have the most sense of humor. If you're somewhere in the middle, then if you roast their movies, bad movies, good, they're just like, guys, this is not funny.
Still wrapped in the status game.
The more secure with you are of just you as a person, the more likely you'll be open to joking about. I know that like Abhishek Bachchan is super funny and super open, and a lot of these guys actually.
Farhan Akhtar, dude, legend. Legend to work with.
So good to work with.
Farhan Akhtar. Ayushmann Khurrana was like a breeze to work with.
Ayushmann ने मैंने क्या लिखा है यार? I have written like corporate events. I've written like wedding sangeet scripts that he's hosting. And after a point, it was like Ayushmann has to give no brief because he knows we'll make some 5 puns on Ayushmann Khurrana only. Like, 50 साल बाद मैं क्या आऊंगा आयुष्मान खुराना. When I'm itchy, I'm Ayushman Khujana.
I think the beauty of being like a writer with a celeb, like once you go past the it's a celeb, and if they give you full freedom to mess around, it's just a joyous process, Like even working with Ranveer, he was like, he went into tangents that we didn't think we could, And Sapan and I are proud writers of something very famous. Sapan, you want to share it or of the most legendary?
We must
Oh,
discuss this.
yes, of course. I remember now.
It's greater than any award that ever happened.
Is it what I think
I want
it
to
is?
tell
I
you,
know.
I want to give some context, okay, for this.
Yeah,
We have never met
sure.
Ranveer Singh before this. It's a brand launching a phone. We've never met Ranveer Singh before this. We go to Yashraj.
Oh my
and
god, this video!
And Tanmay has fucked us over on this also. Okay. So, this
Dude, there was a phase.
Shut up, Tanmay. It's the greatest video of all time, okay?
and like Sapan, Azim and I.
Hota hai.
Wait. Give backstory. Sapan,
backstory.
Azim and I went to.
All right,
the
please
office.
explain.
Okay, we're sitting in the Yashraj ka cabin, one of the meeting cabins, and the CEO of the company and all these corporate people are sitting with us for a very formal meeting with Ranveer Singh. Cut to Ranveer Singh entering with some Govinda song playing on his phone and just shimmying into the meeting like this. And the CEO is like, what the fuck is going on? That's how Ranveer Singh enters the meeting for the first time. Okay, then he's just sitting talking about all of this random shit. We're writing a script, and I'm naming the brand. I don't know if you can use it. This is Samsung Galaxy S4 launch. Okay, and that time Gangnam Style had just come. So Azim ने मजाक में बोल दिया Gangnam Style का parody बनाना चाहिए Samsung Style. And the problem with Ranveer Singh is you don't know when he will take your joke seriously and make it happen. Okay, so he says done. And everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? Okay. The client.
Because in Ranveer's head, it's like, गाना है, popular है, dancing है, rhyming है. What is the problem?
Yeah.
Those are 4 actual lines from the song, Tanmay. Those are 4 actual...
इसमें गाना है.
Then the agency people are trying to stop him. The agency there were 2 people I remember then. They were like, guys, we can't do this. Ranveer threw everybody out of the room. He said, I don't want anybody here. Just 3 of us and Ranveer will sit and write the song. So in 2 hours we've written the song. I have the BTS video of writing and Ranveer just jumping with joy in
while,
the
yeah.
clapping and doing this. And we have written this and we thought, oh, it's gonna go viral. And then it did for all the wrong reasons.
But that works for the brand. What people don't get.
It works. It works.
Yeah.
We are still talking about it. Of course it works.
I have never sat through a 4-minute explanation of phone features before in my life. Take that as the biggest compliment.
If you like the S3, then S4 is even better.
Even better.
If you like the S3, then this phone is even better. It has an HD screen and it's just a lot slimmer. 441 ppi is not just a number. Look at this clarity, it's brighter.
And see,
There
again,
was
the
a
thing is,
time when EIC was doing everything on Gangnam Style. Like,
man.
there were just so
It works.
many
Some 4
songs.
parodies were
After
written.
Samsung style, it worked. It was so
Like,
easy.
this is going to be my niche now. This works.
I
When he
couldn't remember
performed
the
it live-
original.
Yeah.
Like the day Sai's second song, that Gentleman, came out, like the world ended.
Yeah.
Like fuck, it's like it's old now.
What a song also, Mother, Father, Gentleman. What?
Yeah, Mata Pada Gentleman.
But see, when Ranveer performed also that day, we were all damn happy. The client was also very happy because we were like, oh, we have killed it. Then 2 hours later, Sahil and I opened Twitter. And that's when the comments are like, holy shit, this is now we have fucked what is going to happen.
What is your sales strategy to sell a joke, right? Because often what we get is हमको brief मिलता है एक कि इसके लिए लिखना है, okay? Then we go write, and while writing we all know the process कि लिखते लिखते तुम ऐसा कुछ लिख दोगे जो तुमको पता है कि ये reject होने वाला है. But still there's hope against hope that you would do it. Like I remember मेरा और रोहन का strategy होता था कि हम लोग script लिखता रहा, then you would always have 3-4 jokes that you knew would get rejected, but those were your bargaining chips कि तुम ये 3 reject कर रहे हो, हमको ये दोनों रखने दो please.
हाँ. Also, और एक Tanmay, you're forgetting one very important part of our strategy, which was after writing every script, in every first script meeting that you do with the production house, the actors, whatever, is you use your stand-up talent for the first 5-10 minutes. Just be funny in the meeting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just be funny in the meeting. Like, just get them to laugh for the first 5-10 minutes in the meeting, at least. Right?
I think-
and then
You're so aware of it कि you're like अच्छा time waste हो रहा है. Like if Rohan's talking, हमने अच्छा Rohan की crowd interaction करेगा 5 मिनट. ठीक है. सबका reaction देखते. Okay. Yes.
exactly.
When we would go, it was a very simple thing. Okay, simple duo. Sapan would pitch, and I would be the one laughing. So any joke he would.
Yes. Always laugh. Always, as writers, just laugh.
Yeah. So Sapan would crack, and I'm like. And give my most natural, positive, overbearing laugh to commit. I was laughter.
तू सपन का सिद्धू बन के गया था. Amazing.
तू सपन का मेरा पूरा YouTube चैनल बन के गया था. I was going to say something, but that will sound like a defense of this. But the narration is everything.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
If those 30 minutes, if the vibe in the room isn't great, good shit gets dropped, bad shit is pulled in.
And I will say this about us, alright? There may have been days because of lack of sleep, etc., whatever, where you wrote like a 5 on 10 joke and slipped in or whatever. But narration ke pehle our work ethic was kadak. Like we knew that script inside out before we went and narrated it to like the studio guys. Like
it's something we've like. Who was the lady? Sapan, Ritika. Her name was Ritika. The like
Yes, from
we had pitched up like there was some script we had written and we were very nervous. We were like, how do we pitch it? How do we say it? And she like, wait, I'll handle it. Okay. So we said the joke and then she comes in. She like, so just think about it. Okay. ये होता है और फिर शाहरुख ये बोलता है और पागल हो जाते हैं and it worked. It worked.
Save the shit out of it.
That
dude.
was our
It's so
strategy
good.
henceforth, that if you want to sell it, you sell the fuck out of it. You commit, you fake laugh, you make it like the best thing that has ever been created, and it works. If you
And I noticed that we used to do this, and after some point, even the producers would do the same thing to convince the actor. They would also fake laugh.
Yeah, so your delivery has to be like on point. Like you can't just
Full
read it
on.
out. Like you
Yeah.
have to. It's like a whole play you're narrating,
Yeah.
and you have to constantly talk about how the stage is going to be used, how the props are going to come. You have to make it like a whole mela. Like you can't just, it can't be a wordy thing. So you have to incorporate these things, and you have to be so excited about your idea that it just passes on to them. Ki they're like, oh fuck, maybe we don't see something that these guys are seeing. So
I
like
think
that.
one thing we realized.
And this was a tip from Sapan only. I would see Sapan narrating the ideas and I'm like, yeah, I get it. This is how you're supposed to do it.
One thing we cracked, I think, is after writing a couple of award shows, that award show people love props on stage.
Yeah.
So if you introduce a sketch with कि एक train stage पे आता है,
Yeah.
it is already half sold.
Fortune wheel.
Yeah.
Fortune wheel.
yeah.
Props on stage, song parodies.
Yes.
These usual
Yes.
no-brainers.
Yes,
If you
yes.
yeah. Also, generally, song parodies make for very interesting watching, and even if it's live or on video, because in your brain you know how this is going to go, and you are just focusing on कि ये pun क्या आने वाला है next, ये rhyming क्या होने वाला है इसके अंदर. And it's the easiest 4 minutes to cut out. कि 4 minute तो निकल ही जाएगा. ये गाना ही 4 minute है.
Also, any segment where a younger actor either mimics or pays tribute to an older actor by doing his dialogue, doing his dance, hit. Ayushmann Shahrukh का line कर रहा है, वो Vicky Kaushal
And it
Shahrukh का line
becomes
कर रहा है.
even bigger hit if you give senior actor chance to clap back at junior
Yeah,
actor.
of course.
Yeah.
With half, then double hit.
Yeah, actually, in these canned award shows, you don't need jokes as much as moments that we've discussed.
Yes.
Similarly, you don't need punchlines as much as references.
Yes.
Right? Like if
Yes.
Shahid Kapoor, Shahrukh are on stage, if Shahid says one of Shahrukh's dialogues and Shahrukh says one of Shahid's dialogues,
Yes.
you
Yes.
will cut to Katrina kept doing this.
हाँ, उसमें कुछ
100%.
मतलब हमारे साइड से कुछ जोक राइटिंग
He
यूज नहीं हुआ
said the
है.
name of a movie he was in. Oh my god!
Yeah.
He's like, शाहिद तुम तो बड़े कमीने निकले. Toing.
और शाहरुख तुम तो बड़े देवदास लग रहे हो.
That brings me to the question, right? Like, what are the writing chops you require to actually do this? I think writing for television or writing for a quote unquote massy audience is also a skill.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Totally.
So I remember before, I think after the Shahrukh Saif thing, they started looking more at stand-up and comedy and comedians for writing because they figured that this works, and I think Veer did it, so it became popular after that. But before that, there used to be these legendary guys who have written awards for years and years. If you will all know their names in the industry, writing-wise. And उनके पास ना बाल्टी भर के links होता था. अच्छा बिपाशा बासु को इंट्रोड्यूस करना है, here are 60 lines just introducing बिपाशा बासु, तो चिपका दो.
60 different editor,
That,
yeah.
it's just that, and they have like a set, like you said, song parody, actor tribute, references. ये उनके पास discrete chunks होता था, बस हल्का फुल्का tweak करके मस्त award
Which
show
is
बनाते
also
थे.
why it got boring, because it started
Yeah.
repeating those same tropes.
Yeah,
started
yeah,
repeating
yeah.
after a point. So
But after writing a few of these, I understood why.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, after writing a few of
How
these,
many-
we also have a
Yeah.
bank of links. Like,
It's like imagine being a stand-up comedian and then being told that you're given 8 premises which you have to use for the rest of your life. That's what it is, right? It's like पिछले साल 4 सेपरेट शो में मैं ऑलरेडी बिपाशा कटरीना जोक किया, अब इस साल और 4 शो में लेकिन बिपाशा कटरीना जोक ही करने का है, क्योंकि पिक्चर में तो यही लोग हैं. Like you beyond a point, what are you gonna write? But to answer
When he
the
says
question,
Bipasha
Tanmay,
Katrina, he's using them as generic names.
as generic names, not like actually them, but I'm saying like in the sense, it's the same, it's a traveling circus of the same 15
Yeah.
people, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
That's what
right?
it is.
It's a traveling circus of the same 15 people. it is a traveling circus of the same 15 people. There's only so much that as a writer you can reinvent tricks for those people before you're like, okay, if the people aren't going to change, the writer on this has to change because I'm done. Like, I don't have anything left in the tank to say about these people.
we've also done this where in the same year we've written 2 or 3 award shows. तो पहले अवार्ड शो में अगर वो मूवी का जोक रिजेक्ट हो गया है, उसको यहाँ वाले पे चिपका दिया.
of course, of course.
Of course.
You always search rejected gag ideas for XYZ award show and then like put it back.
A joke bank or other bank of gags is the most useful thing.
100%.
That I can tell you, me, Rohan and Shax, we have that AIB Google Drive with every idea we've ever had. Someone has painstakingly just put it all
Yup.
in one place, and a lot of shit just gets done by being like, okay, let's pull that.
Just
from
go
here.
back to that and stare at it for a few minutes.
And it
then-
happens till date.
Till
It-
date.
Till date
Till
it
date.
happens. Saying, let's
Till
use
date.
that one thing that could never make it somewhere, we can do it here.
It's like, you know how they say like you should put 10% of your salary away every this thing? Like always put 10% of your jokes away, everything of this thing, and then you get then like an investment, they come out 10 years later.
Hegde funds.
Okay, you're the best gag you've written for these award shows. One that you remember that you really enjoyed.
So we wrote one for last IFA where Ayushman is Gully Boy rapping with different characters from the movies. So they're like Ayushman rapping with Babuji from DDLJ. And I remember the lines also. तुझको क्या बताऊँ मैं हूँ गली का एक छोकरा अपने यहाँ मिलती भिंडी तेरे यहाँ ओकरा. Like, whatever.
Usually a musical gag.
Yeah.
For me, it was like I think in IFA it became a thing that once we did that rap, it became a thing कि हर साल एक rap करना ही है. So like Farhan and Shahid had this rap called Raju or Pappu. So that was a recurring theme every year. So that was my favorite.
I remember
Yeah.
the theme also. Raju or Pappu.
Pappu. It was Ice Ice Baby. Raju or Pappu.
That
And then
took
the-
a lot of time for us to write, but it was.
And the
legendary.
lyrics were also
That
very
was-
like award like आज की रात बॉलीवुड के सितारे कितने सारे लोग और कितने सारे चेहरे ladies from Kareena to Kalki, gents from Ritik to Arshad Warsi, like it's like that.
Nice. You know, I'm wondering, Rohan, like, because when we started, right, like, I think the first one we ever wrote for Filmfare was Ranveer and Imran. And I can't imagine pitching this then at that casually, because the idea of an opening monologue was new.
Yes.
Then, right? Like
Yes.
a funny or Oscar-style opening
Absolutely.
monologue. That itself was new. And I remember we would go back to, I think, who was it? Steve Martin plus Alec Baldwin, I think.
Yeah.
Were hosting
yeah.
the
Of course.
Oscars, like an opening monologue like that.
That classic.
Yeah, so that's the one that I remember, because just the idea of just opening the
Yes.
show with let's just do 10 straight jokes to the audience.
To tag on to that, for me, one of the moments that I remember is the following year also, when we did Shahrukh Ranveer. I remember that opening monologue was by then we had learned that also little comedy tricks, right? Like if you have them in the first 10 to 15 minutes, that buys you a lot of time for the rest. And we rehearsed that monologue down to like the last joke, I remember. And I remember standing backstage and they started with the first, second joke, and all the laughter I could hear sounded exactly like it sounds at a stand-up show.
Yeah.
And I remember like sitting back and thinking, fuck, we nailed this.
But I'm waiting for the day, like I feel like how comedy has evolved in Bollywood shows, right? Like I think Hollywood has reached the next stage where right now it's just roasting every award show is like get someone like Ricky Gervais to just roast people and it works, or get someone to be a little offensive, it works. We've not reached that point yet because there's a certain
Nahi hoga yaar.
level that you need to tread. Like it's a very
No, and I
it's
don't
a
think
sweet
that's ever
roast.
going to happen. I don't
can
think that's
never
going to happen
happen.
though, because the big, you can call it like it's a characteristic of our industry. It's very like parivar vibes. So it's one thing like in the Hollywood industry where it's just a bunch of peers joking about peers. Here it's very like if you talk about a senior producer, तुम दादाजी के बारे में बोल रहे हो. If you talk about this thing, तुम चाचा जी के बारे में बोल रहे हो. So that I don't know that's something I hold out much hope for.
I remember we tried this once with Ayushman, a smaller award show where he did one insult joke, and not even like crazy roast, one insult joke on a musician, and the musician stood up and just left. He just left in the middle of the show, and we were like, okay, this is not working. What we think is cool as comedians is not what is cool for this industry as such.
Also, it can't work if like the actor is doing it. Like you have to get somebody from outside of the film industry to maybe even attempt something like that.
And I mean, look, we do, like, there are certain, like, fragile egos, right? And this, I mean, it's not, like, this is public knowledge. Like, everybody knows how, like, Sajid Khan and, like, Ashutosh Gowarikar.
Oh, I was at that award show. I was a
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'll
Right?
tell you the story. Yeah.
You were there.
I was there.
So, moment.
So I was a red carpet producer on that show. It was being shot at MMRDA grounds, okay? And I was there and I could hear the whole show go on. By this time, no one was coming on red carpet then. So I just ran inside just to see what was going on. And by the way, I can tell you, we've discussed fake fights earlier. This was not fake. It was completely real. The atmosphere in the room was tense as fuck. And shit got really serious. Like, they had to stall the show for about 30 minutes. Like, Farah Khan was really upset. She was crying. There was a whole scene. They had to come. People had to come, patch them up, and then the show started again. It was brutal.
Personal remarks can be made even by me. Fun can be made even by me.
You should go ahead, Ashu.
No, Sajid. I won't. There's a difference.
It's a TV show.
Sorry. Don't interrupt.
Ashutosh is a little like, come on, Ashu.
Ashutosh adding time to everything.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about banker jokes earlier. I think जब से उसने वो पिक्चर बनाई है लगान, तब से एक आशुतोष गवारिकर जोक बैंक में है जो हम सब ने 50 बार चला है कि आशुतोष गवारिकर की पिक्चर लंबी है. Like it is still like if he does an award show today, same joke. Same joke.
I just love the editing of that video on YouTube where he's getting that award, and I know it's not fake edited because he's winning an award for Jodha Akbar, and you can see Hrithik being like, "What is he doing?"
Yeah, what's going on?
मेरे award के बीच में shut up बोलना is not funny.
Funny.
Because while hosting, it is just Sajid, and then Farah Khan comes from nowhere and she's like, Ashu, we are all just having fun. Ashutosh sits in his chair and he's still like, not done, but you can't hear anything. It's just moving. I've watched that video way too many times.
Yeah, I have seen it. You will not make fun of Star on this podium.
This was
Yeah,
Bollywood's
that's-
how can she slap moment.
How can he joke?
Didn't we start with, I'm feeling really hurt, yaar. Like, didn't we start with that?
Yeah. Why can't we ever have an Oscar-style show? Like something that... By the way, is it possible to air our award shows live ever?
No.
No, because
That's just
somebody
not how the
mentioned
industry is set up.
Yeah.
Because people don't see, right? Like that in these shows, usually what happens is sometimes, like you said, the show will stop for 30 minutes to do production change. The show will stop for 30 minutes because an actor who was supposed to come now can't come because of traffic in Goregaon and things like that. So there are very few shows that run like end to end in 2.5 to 3 hours clockwork, like say an Oscar production runs. Like that, so just from a logistical level, it seems
No,
difficult.
like that. I think the award shows are executed in 2.5, 3 hours. It's just that you won't get Oscars, sir, because gathering everyone at the perfect time for those 2.5, 3 hours is
Because
that's impossible.
yeah, because
you have to do
think
cam
Karan
shots
Johar,
and
Karan
whatnot.
Johar mentioned this, and I think that was very true, where he said that the problem is that Indian award shows are not really award shows, they are TV events.
Correct.
So it's designed for TV. So on TV, you want to see a Shahrukh Khan and Deepika Padukone dance. You want to see a moment. You don't want to see us giving away of awards. Everything is like Colors has 5 sponsors. So TRP चाहिए, तो डांस तो चाहिए ही, वरना नहीं चलेगा.
And you're not okay
That's
with
how
just a
we treat
monologue.
ourselves.
Yeah, you need like spectacle, like little things like
We need
वो
spectacle.
harness से उतर के आएगा पे, मतलब public ऐसा
Pyro.
harness, fireworks. इस पे public बहुत ताली बजाता है यार
pyro.
production room में.
What is this pyro?
Pyro. Pyro लगाएंगे.
If young writers are watching this, if you get the chance, do it for fun for a few times.
100% do it. But if you're still doing it 9 years later, then you stalled somewhere. Like
It's your opportunities, right? You get a checklist. Okay, meeting with celebs, checklist done. Traveling to different countries because the watch was in different country,
Yes.
done. Getting
Yes.
nice amount of money for writing, done. Having your jokes set out and show off moment, done. Oh yeah, I'm done. I
Like
did
whenever
everything on
somebody
the
asks me
checklist.
they should write award shows, my thing is always ask who is the celebrity you're writing for, because that defines your
100%.
entire experience.
Yeah.
So it just totally depends on who you're writing for. If you like the person you want to work with, then please do. If you don't, then don't
This
waste 2
advice
months of
is
your
valid
life.
for like 20 people who are potentially in line to write it.
Potentially
He usually goes to the
right.
same people for years because some comfort
Yeah.
level is developed, etc., etc. Did you guys ever go to any after parties? IFA after party बता ना कुछ किस्सा साहिल सपन तुम लोग तो
The IFA that we did, we literally it got at
fucked
4
off
in the
from
morning. We
that
fucked off because because we were in US. We thought, let's go to New York. We were in Florida, so we just literally 4 in the morning. Once they said your time is done, we took our bags and we bounced. Because they said
Oh,
we'll
Sonali,
give
you also didn't go?
No, I went to Spain. I went to Madrid for the year after that. So the minute they told us our show is over, Karunesh went to Amsterdam and I went to.
Hilarious.
So we clearly had our own after party.
clearly.
I think the one moment I truly regret is this only, where we wrote, I think, Star Screen Awards for Shahrukh, where Sahil had chilled in his vanity for 2 days with Honey Singh and all of that. The award show got done. He was really happy. And the minute the show got done, all the big people came to Shahrukh's vanity to party, right? And Sahil and I were like, I think we have overstayed our welcome, so let's pack our bags and leave. So we went to say bye to Shahrukh. He was very nice. He hugged us saying, you guys were great. And then he said, may I offer you guys a drink? And like an idiot, we just said no. And we left.
What fools!
Y'all are fools. Y'all are fools. Y'all are fools.
Listen,
Y'all are
this is your
fools.
first ever sort of
It is.
big
You missed.
writing gig. I know, we are fools, but like we've literally faffed in his vanity van. We've taken advantage of chilling in the van. There's a level of how much you can go beyond, and we felt.
But that's what I would like to say, that after parties and all are whatever. But I think fondest memories are pre-show, like script discussion sessions with Shahrukh Khan. So Shahrukh Khan's work ethic is great, but he's like that school kid who after 2 hours in the classroom is like, now recess, guys. Now we have to go. Let's like Shanti Niketan vibe happens. Let's go outside and let's do this in the trees. And it was the nicest thing. He would sit with us for a good 3 hours after the script in his lap. Okay, we're by his pool and the script is in his lap. And we are just listening to amazing stories, and it was just the best time.
And there's a part.
Best. I think we left his house at
6 in the morning.
left his house at 7 in the morning once.
7.
I remember
Yeah.
leaving his house at some 6:37 in the morning once.
I also loved working with Ranveer and Arjun when we wrote the IFA, because Ranveer Singh would call any time of the day just to tell you one joke that he's thought of. So randomly I am somewhere and I pick up the phone and he's running on the treadmill. Note kar ek joke aaya. I'll be like, one very bad pun, but he loves it. So he wrote it down. Some very bad joke, but he'll keep it. It's like that.
If you didn't like
Dude,
this
it's
joke,
worth it.
then
Yeah.
I have one even better.
Yeah, dude, it's fine. If it makes him happy, karo yaar, theek hai.
But Sapan, yeah. Also, Sapan, you've touched upon a very important thing, like what you said, right? Like, if you're working, man, if you're going to work for somebody as enthusiastic as that, fucking do it.
Yes.
Because you know they will give 100% to every other aspect of the show.
100%.
Actually, in terms of joy, like Ranveer is the only one who comes close to Shahrukh, right? Because that energy is phenomenal to work with.
Yeah, like again, we wrote the opening gag for IFA for Ranveer and Arjun, and as a joke, we said ki there's some Karan Arjun gag where the mother comes in, and as a joke, somebody said ki let's get Rakhi Sawant to play this, and Ranveer Singh is like, done, this is happening, and he made sure it happened against everybody's will. Because he's like, this is so exciting, I will make it happen. Otherwise, I will not do it.
Hey, we have a similar Rakhi
Yeah,
Sawant
yeah,
story
yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
We do.
For that
Yeah,
sketch.
we wrote for that sketch only. I think that Ladies Man wala sketch.
No, it was.
No, it was the end.
This
Basically,
was the
about
end.
how a movie gets made in Bollywood.
No, this was
basically.
honest.
The life cycle of how a movie is made in Bollywood.
No, sorry. This was every Oscar-winning movie award ever. Yaad hai? तो उसका वैसे
एक
कुछ कर
video
रहे थे
था।
हम लोग, वैसे कुछ स्केच कर रहे थे हम लोग, या एवरी बॉलीवुड मूवी अगर ऐसा कुछ कर रहे थे.
And we pitched saying, oh, we should get Shakti Kapoor. Like Rakhi Sawant takes off her mask and it's Shakti Kapoor or something like that. Okay?
Some joke, okay?
And
Some
Shahrukh's in a
dumb
room.
joke.
Yeah, some ridiculous joke. And we're all in a room, and Shahrukh loved the idea, and Shahrukh started making call. And
Like on the spot.
on the spot.
रात
Like,
के
let's
2
call
बजे,
and let's
रात
get
के 2
this
बजे.
done.
हाँ.
And Shahrukh calls Rakhi Sawant and he gets her to, he tells her the script and everything, and she agrees. Then we go on shoot, and it's Rakhi Sawant on shoot with Ranveer Kapoor and Shahrukh, and they were just everyone's just having a really great time. And I have a selfie with Rakhi Sawant also. It's on my Instagram from
I
that
remember
day.
Shahrukh's code for somebody will do this is like, Arey, no, they'll do it, yeah, he's sweet, yeah. Arey, no, this one, Arey, she's sweet, yeah, she'll do it, yeah.
I mean, yeah. If Shahrukh calls you at 1 in the morning saying, "Kar le ye role kal."
Yeah.
Not.
I wanna ask you guys, what was the ideal, like, to write one award show? How many days did it take you guys to write one as a team of writers usually?
I don't measure it in days, I measure it in hours because the days and the weeks and the months all blur
Yeah.
into. But usually they'd pull us in about 3 to 4 weeks, I think, before, or like 6 weeks before this thing is your first meeting, like with people going, this is happening. And then you learn from your second year onwards that you don't take anything that was said in the first meeting seriously, because by the time you come closer to 3 weeks of the show, host badal gaya hai. अच्छा ये इसका ये जो number होने वाला था अब इसको introduce करना है. So like you will start writing when you are clearer on
I think the first thing they ask you to do is, हमारे पास here are possible themes. And then how can we do gags based on these themes? So whatever the theme is for that year, you have to go with it.
You get something called a reference bank, okay? इस साल का सबसे बड़ा पिक्चर ये था. इस साल में न्यूज में ये हुआ. You know, and that sort of stuff. Like, oh, if this person is hosting, these people will definitely be at the award show. Like broadly.
So much of your script also changes depending on the guest list also. Like the closer they finalize the guest list, once they get you for the award show, once it's finalized, contracts are locked in, your life is done till that show happens. Like you're right, like so many times we've written till like 6 a.m. in the morning, and that's like realistically, because you have to get into the zone also.
Because writing the script of an award show is like constructing a building, right? Like one thing is linked to another thing and potentially linked to another thing. So it's like, oh, if the opening of this gag doesn't work, then middle also will not work. No, because the opening was set up.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely
Also,
true.
for all our talk about we are just small cogs in the wheel and all when it comes to an award show, which is true and we are aware of it. But when you're writing it, you're writing with full enthusiasm. You are like, कि मेरे का joke चलना चाहिए. I मेरे को laughter चाहिए joke. When you're fighting for your jokes, that's really cool.
Bruh.
Max and two.
Still an audience that's going to laugh, man. I'm just...
Yeah, of course.
By laugh slut for life.
Yeah.
I just want...
Forever.
That's a t-shirt.
Forever.
And this is like people don't recognize this about comics. It's laugh slut in any situation for everything. So now
24/7.
Yes.
24/7 for any situation, any place. So people think that, oh, this comedian said this joke with such intent, or they had malicious intent and he said it to hurt. I'm like, you don't even understand the fucking cheapness behind the intent. मैं भूखमंगा सुनने के लिए. I can't tell you, no matter what room, no matter who the audience, I'm meeting some children who are fans. There also I'll try to make them laugh.
Tanmay, finally, we found it. We have found the title for your memoir. Bhukmanga, a laughter, a memoir of cheapness. A memoir of cheapness.
How badly we want laughs
But that's
in
so
every room.
true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Order to get one reaction. That's it. कुछ agenda बजेंडा कुछ
That's
नहीं है.
literally it.
नहीं है agenda.
Yeah, you are ascribing so much more thought to this. Like,
Bhukmanga laugh slut. Nice.
Bhukmanga laugh slut. Chalo, on that amazing note, this was great. Nice reminiscing about all of these award shows, guys. Thanks for joining us, guys. This was very fun digging in deep about award shows. We'll discuss TV shows next time. Okay.
yes. Done.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you.